what's been interesting is that since those studies came out, they actually stopped keeping track of the race of the victims of the crimes, which was a very interesting development, I thought. Since that time, though, there's been another study done in 2009 that takes apart those studies and shows that, in fact, statistically, they were not at all well done, solidly. If you lump together everyone who works on farms, the way one of those studies did, for example, and you then say, okay, this is the number of people who've been killed in, farm murders on those farms. I think over 100,000 farmers or something. It all looks very similar to the normal crime statistics for the rest of the country. If you, on the other hand, single out those people who were the actual farm owners, and who are often white farm owners, you get a much higher rate of farm murders for those people. In other words, it was a statistically biased sample that was used to come to those conclusions in those studies. And I think that if you, I know that South Africa does have a serious crime problem in general, but what's really striking to me is these most recent studies, the 2009 study, being the one that I am referring to in particular, that show that the rate of murders is about 3 times as high as for Boer farmers, for example, as it is for the general population. I think you've got some explaining to do why that difference exists. And I think the explanation is that the 2009 study actually broke down the characteristics of the population who do live on the farms, between those who actually were the owners of the farms and those who were, just employees and others. That, I believe, is the explanation for the difference. And it's very interesting to me that since that time that the government hasn't been really wanting to differentiate by race or by any other kind of category that would help to make it clear what's happening here. My view is this, that this crime should become should become a priority crime for the government to investigate and stop. A few years back, there was a huge rash of robberies of transport trucks for money between banks. I don't know if you remember this. And the government said, oh, this is terrible, we must stop this. And so they made it a priority crime. And when they did, they more or less stopped it. Well, that's what I would like to see happen here with the farm murders, because I believe they could be stopped.